I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Eligwe, heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes, not behind you. You will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
No way. When the time comes, it's okay. What stupid country is this? So when you see you try somebody's secret, when you like, you try a secret, when you like it's in public, what stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try in secret, when you like, you try in private, they are killing my people. 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 After killing my people, you tell me what to tell in secret? The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he is mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret trial. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes.
We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
the meaning of discovery, it means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun. And lovers of freedom all over the nations of the world, I want to welcome you to this special broadcast today, the Alliance in Focus on Biafra Global Network. I want to welcome you. We already have one of our guests in the house, Mrs. Modupeola Adebayo. She's already in the studio, and so we are set to take off. And I want to assure you that today is going to be explosive. We have less than 48 hours to the end of the year, and today is the 30th day of December 2022. And I want to assure you that, as always, as Mazin Namdekanu said in that broadcast you just heard now, or in that jingle you just heard now, that we will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure we get our freedom. And that is what he has done, and that is why he is where he is today. And today, all over the nations of the world, people are rising up to decide to take their freedom. And I believe that you out there, you are one of them who have decided to take freedom by force. Tomorrow, I'm going to be making a special, tomorrow is going to be the last day for the year. I'm going to be making a special sacrifice I'll be making for this cause of freedom. I don't care what Nigeria represents. I don't care what I have achieved in Nigeria, whatever thing I have in Nigeria. Tomorrow, I'm going to sacrifice them for freedom, because Nigeria can never mean anything meaningful or anything reasonable to anybody. Nigeria is a waste of time, waste of life, waste of talent, waste of gifts, waste of resources, waste of everything. And as I always say, it's either you're a Nigerian or you are an intellectual. These are two different things, grossly opposite to the other. It's either you are a Nigerian or you are an intellectual. So you choose which one you are. I want to welcome you all to this program. Today is the Alliance in Focus program, where the Oduduwa and the Biafra nation will meet in the lives and being represented by the people representing Oduduwa nation and Biafra nation today. Today we already have Dr. Modupeola in the house, as we wait briefly, and I'm going to bring her on stage in the next 2-3 minutes. I'm going to show her up here, and then we have others who are going to join us soon. We have Mr. Demola, who is going to be joining us. We have Dr. Ngozi, who will be joining us. We have Prince Ezem Ihenacho, he's going to be joining us. So it's going to be a packed and loaded program today. I assure you it's going to be explosive. I assure you it's going to be explosive. We want to make you understand that anything that has to do with freedom, if you are not ready, then you are not ready. If you are ready, then you must come all out and decide to prove that you are ready. We can't look at the way Fulanis are parading themselves. Over 200 million people, intellectuals, important people, professionals, gifted people, and just a few 5 million people will come and front themselves and put us in a tight situation and mess us up, and we're all looking like morons. The time has come, and the end of that bullshit has come. I tell you, I'm going to be using tougher and harsher words from now. Let Nigeria do whatever they want to do. They can't do anything because they are just empty. They are just empty, like humans inbuilt. The Fulanis have messed us up, messed our generations up. The upcoming generation is become useless. Go to the zoo called Nigeria, you see young men, all they are thinking of is who to dupe and who to defraud, just to make quick money, because of the concept and the design of the stupid Fulani group of people who are marauders and who are criminals, and are the ones calling other people criminals. And today we are going to decimate them. I have Prince Ezem Ihenacho also in the house, And without wasting time, I'm going to be bringing the two guests who are already here. Critically, we're going to be looking at issues as we close the year and as we commence and continue the progress of destabilizing and decimating Nigeria, because they have already created that destabilization by their principles, by their actions, by everything. We are going to show them that we have what it takes to do what we have to do and get our freedom. They have killed our people enough. They have done enough. And this time around, we're not going to take it anymore. Every day I keep seeing videos of people's necks cut off. What nonsense. And we keep 200 million people looking like morons, looking at few people cutting the necks of people. Nobody's saying anything. United Nations is saying nothing. Nobody's saying anything. And 200 million people are sitting down watching these idiots, these non-entities. I call them any name, and I can call them any name anywhere. And I'm determined to do that. And I'm determined to sacrifice anything for this freedom, just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have done. And I know that you out there, you are rugged and you are ready. Without wasting time, I'm going to bring in my guests. Dr. Modupeola Adebayo, you are specially welcome. You are specially welcome. Before you say anything, Prince Ezem, Ihenacho. Oh, my. The house is loaded with professionals and people who have resolved to see that this generation receive freedom. We have Dr. Ngozi Orabueze. She's live here also. I want to welcome you to this program. I don't know why Doctor's face is not, Dr. Ngozi's face is not showing fully. Let me see if it's my camera or something. Let me see if I can change the settings here and see how it's going to work. Oh, it's too tiny here. Let's see how it goes. I don't know. Oh my, it's still the same thing. I don't know. Maybe that's neat. Okay, so somehow just adjust your camera. Please, let's start with Dr. Modupeola Adebayo. Please say hello to the Oduduwa people and Biafrans as a whole. Say hello to everyone, please.
Good morning, my people in Oduduwa land and my people in the Biafra land. Again, it's an honor and a privilege to be here and to also be amongst these intellectuals here as well. And thank you, Mr. Ambrose, for inviting me. So I look forward to a very fruitful and productive discussions today. And welcome, Mr. Faleti, as well. Thank you.
Good morning. Yes, it's going to be a wonderful time. It's going to be a wonderful time, and the house is full with people who have what it takes and the guts and the technical know-how to actually speak to you and make you understand what it means to be free and to be free indeed. I want to welcome Prince Ezem. Please say hello to Biafrans, Oduduwa people, and lovers of freedom all over the nations of the world.
Can I, as always, begin by giving Chukwu Okike, Oluwa, God Almighty, the praise. He alone that gave man autonomy to define themselves, autonomy to be independent, autonomy to choose and cultivate their own food, make their own medication, because from place to place you find that we have different food types. Unlike animals, where you have an elephant eating the same thing in Africa as elephants eat across the globe naturally. We want to thank God Almighty for this day, for waking us up to this knowledge that we ought to be mortal beings on this earth with unique gifts with limitations so that we can serve one another. We thank God that He made it possible that we are today in this knowledge, in this wisdom, that it is not for another man to define another man or to give another man a name or another man's child a name, that even our dogs can never accept names from strangers, but his owners. So I can't understand how foreigners, strangers, can come and impose a name on a place they have no biological lineage nor ancestral heritage. We give God glory for this wisdom. And I tell you, and I want to welcome all my Oduduwa brothers and sisters who are in the light of God. who have understood that they have to take their positions on earth and deliver that which God has given to them that is being repressed and suppressed by evil. I thank you, my Oduduwa brothers and sisters. I thank you, my fellow Biafrans, and I can't wait for us to get on with the business of actualizing freedom. Freedom for the entire humanity. And let me remind everybody that the light that is coming from Oduduwa and Biafra is a light not just for Oduduwans and Biafrans, but for the entire world, because we are here not only to free ourselves, but to free the Fulani, to free the British, to free Europe, to free the entire world who have been held in hostage and bondage. I thank you all and I welcome you all to this hallowed platform. There one.
Thank you so much for that. In fact, you've said so many things at the same time, you know, and touching so many things. And we appreciate you for that submission. And I tell you, everyone, it's going to be very, very explosive today. There's so many things we shall and shall. Please, I can't now read your messages. I'm still going to also open the lines for you to ask questions and for you also to, you know, communicate and relate with, you know, the guests here, and so you can also be part of the program. I'm going to be inviting Mr. Demola Faleti. You know, okay, Doctor still went out and she's here again. So, Mr. Demola, please just say hello to Biafrans and Oduduwa people and lovers of freedom all over the nations of the world, as you will.
Moderator. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Demola Faleti, and it's my pleasure to be back of like-minded seekers of freedom. Without certainty today that we will get a better appreciation of why we are demanding it. One of the old American presidents said, "Liberty, or give me death." The alternative word for liberty is freedom. Freedom is a God-given right that we enjoyed because surreptitiously crept in, lorded over us in an attempt to continue to perpetuate the lording over us, the indigents that we were so graciously, we have so in our ancestral land to take reigns over us and turn us in our fatherland. That shall no longer be. We will rather die our freedom. And I thank you, my co-distinguished this morning, and my distinguished audience all over the world. Enjoy the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Really, really appreciate you for making out your time also to be here. Dr. Ngozi Orabueze.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from depends on wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much, Kelechi Ambrose and distinguished guests. It is my honor and pleasure to be here to discuss pertinent issues that surround all of us. And like I've heard my previous guest said, this is something we have to do by ourselves. Nobody is going to do that for us. If we all decide to keep quiet and wait until somebody comes and do that for us, then we are not going to have any place even for our children or grandchildren to grow up and call home. So that is why it's very, very important that we all rise at this time, at this moment, and do what we need to do to make sure that we can live in our own God-given environment. Again, I welcome everybody to this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Everyone watching, you are still on to Biafra Global Network, and we have our guests, and they have introduced themselves. And of course, critically, you're going to be hearing some very, very important facts and details today. We have less than 48 hours to the end of the year. And we tell you that as we get into the next year, you're going to enter into the next year with very, 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 very refined mindsets to approach your freedom the way you should approach it. Now, when Mr. Stephen was introducing himself, he made a very vital point that I want to use as it. In fact, when he made that statement, a particular question came into my mind, which I'm going to pose right now so that we can take it up from there before we go into every other detail and facts that we have. He says something, ancestral land. And I want to ask this question. I'm going to be asking Dr. Modupeola, I think I'm going to start with you on that. What is the significance of ancestral land to the life of the people, the indigenous people?
I think I'm muted. Yeah, thank you. To me, what ancestral land mean to me is that it's your connection to your roots. And when I say your roots, where you're from, where you actually originate from. So again, it's actually tied to your destiny as well. Your destiny as a person and collectively as a member of a group, because that land produced you so that you can actually contribute to the land so that the land can continue to exist and in an advanced way. So if you are detached from your roots, can you tell me who anyone who has lost their way home, right? Tell me how, if that individual is ever going to find like a comfortable place to be. If you are disconnected from your roots, that's it. It's because if you don't know who you are, you really cannot begin to have plans for your future. And that's why, and that's the reason why, if we go back to what Ahmadu Bello said in one of his quotes, right? He said that we need to use brute force to prevent them from having control over their future. And the only way that they have been able to, that they plan to make this happen, or that they've been trying to make it happen, is to actually take over, to snatch from us what truly belongs to us. So they want to disconnect, and then we become homeless like them. Because that group, it's like they really do not have a place. You cannot say this is where the Fulani is. Well, we heard like they are from Futajalon, but at the same time, it's like you cannot say this group of people, are known to be, occupants of this area of Africa, or this area of land. We don't know that. They are marauders, they are wanderers, they're going from one. So, and that's what they want to do, to turn us into that. And so the first thing they want to do is to disconnect you from your roots. And so if you do not have an ancestral home, if you do not have a home to call, if you do not have a place to call home, I'm telling you, it's really going to be very difficult for you to be able to realize your dreams, because your dreams are tied to your home. And that's my own definition of, of ancestral.
Prince Ezem, I begin to wonder at this, as she was saying some of those stuff she was saying, talking about your ancestral, your source, and something came into my mind. God begins to tell the people, I'm going to take you back to your land. What is that significance? It's critical here, because we have to understand, our people have to understand, so that they know what they are fighting for.
Thank you. You see, the truth has a common language. The truth is so universal and so clear, you can't mistake it. If you remember, when I was introducing myself, I mentioned ancestral heritage. And I'm glad that my brother, Stephen, I think, also spoke about ancestral home. And my dear sister, I can't see, let me see, let me turn this so I can see better.
Modupe.
Yes, yes, Modupe also also began to use metaphor, which I enjoy so much. Now, you see, God does not lie. I've told you once on your program that mortal beings, which is actually our true definition, mortal beings are like seeds. Each seed is peculiar, and each seed has peculiar soil where they do best. And if you move a particular seed to a soil that is not meant for it, it will not maximize its potential. And I've told you before that it doesn't matter what we are doing in Europe, okay? I am sorry, we are still limited because we are working by the dictates of others. We are working in a restricted environment where our full potentials can never come to the fore. This is too critical. You know, the more I talk about this, the more I get, in fact, upset. I go mad in my brain that we allowed people to do this. Now, remember, each tree, because we are dealing with the root, and this is why I told you that the worst evil is for a stranger to come and name your child, to come and name your animal, to come and name your ancestral home. In fact, once a stranger does that, because naming should carry not only love, but affection. Once they do that, they poison the place becomes cursed. Okay? That is what you're seeing, because the root, the particular root from which we all are supposed to grow from, have been taken away and replaced by something else. See, any branch that loses its root will automatically die. It doesn't matter how long it lives, it must die. You don't play with these metaphors, because that is the true things that will illuminate your eyes to the evil that have been brought upon us. The same people who have done this will never allow you to come and define them, to come and give them any. They will never. Now, we are told that the worst thing a human being would do will be to wish unto others things they don't wish done to themselves. That is the worst evil. That is Christianity that we talk about. Okay, so the time has come. Look, it's rather everybody dies than continue in this evil. Look, you are either, in fact, until you get to know these things, you will never know why Nnamdi Kanu was screaming his head off, and he is saying, why was I made a black man? It's not that he's not happy being a black man. It's just that he got so frustrated about the way we reason that today, the people that call themselves Nigerians are so conditioned to be happy in slavery, are so conditioned to actually die for a name strangers gave them. So conditioned that they can't see anything. They are so emotionally charged that they act on only feelings. They can't see facts. I mean, the other day we were working on proper definition of Nigeria, and I was saying to you, by the time we are done with Nigeria, Nigeria will now go into the dictionary, and the true definition will be a place where evil became norm, where abnormality became normality. We must find a way to make sure that children growing up, when they hear the word Nigeria, they know what it means and they will run from it. So please, this ancestral thing is key. We need to remember it, that it is actually the root, that you must belong to your root. I've told you several times that we are structured like our fingers, the fingers you see here. None of these fingers actually predicted or chose where they are placed. And it doesn't matter the size of the fingers. It doesn't matter how different they look. They are all equally fingers because each has a peculiar role to play. And you can see that each of them rooted in a particular part of the palm. Now, what do? They can mix together, but none should replace the other because none can act like the other. What these people have done is to uproot some of the fingers and they want to put another one in there. They are just disorganizing humanity. They are going against the clock. They are just ruining it for everybody, including themselves, but they are so blind to see it. Yes, the fingers can mix. They can mix. They can work together. We can go to Europe. Europeans can come to us. But they should bring their uniqueness and work with us, not come and impose themselves and then kill off the particular ingredient we are meant to be contributing to the overall equation. These people need to be educated. And we are here, the Yorubas, the Oduduwas, and the Biafrans. We are here to introduce the right knowledge, the true education, and we must make sure we did that. God did not place us here in vain, and we must live up to that. We must live up to that billing. I thank you.
The facts are clear that we are actually victims of circumstance. And from the point of view Dr. Modupe and Prince Ezem has given, is that we are actually not fitted where we are supposed to be. And that has affected our productivity, that has affected our expectation, that has affected our way of life, and that has created a kind of acrimony in the fabrics of the world. And Dr. Orabueze, I want you to give your perspective to this issue of ancestral roots.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelechi. Again, the issue of the way I see ancestral roots, just like Dr. Modupe and Prince has said, is where you originate from, where you have your family ties, where you were born, your parents, your grandparents, your brothers and sisters, your uncles, your family lineage. Those things are things that we cannot just separate from people. Those things cannot just be separated from people. And that is what is going on today in Nigeria. That separation is being done by force. That separation of where you were born, your homes, your community, your family, your brothers, your sisters' land, all that are being invaded today on a daily basis. And people are murdered in that ancestral home. Either they are murdered or those in leadership move you to an IDP camp. Moving one to an IDP camp makes the room for the invaders to take over that ancestral home, that communal land. That is exactly what is going on today. And that cannot continue. It is very, very critical that every single Nigerian, I don't care whether you've never really bothered about Nigeria, you've lost hope in Nigeria, you've lost interest in what is going on there because it does not affect you. This is the time everybody have to rise up and say no to this invasion that is going on every day, to this killing that is going on every day. And it's happening in all parts of Nigeria. It's happening in the east, in the west, in the north, in the south, in the middle belt. And those that have been entrusted to safeguard the lives and property of the Nigerian citizen are not doing anything in most cases. They are not. Most of them are not doing what they need to do. And that is why those that are doing this invasion are empowered. They are empowered. They continue to move. They continue to dominate. They continue to depopulate. So the fact and the major modus operandi for the Fulani terrorists is depopulate and overtake. Anywhere they enter, they depopulate and overtake. So that depopulation is happening in the areas of killings of both the male youths and the female youths, but mostly the male youths that they see as people that are going to confront them. Most of them are eliminated. So either they are eliminated or they are chased away from that ancestral home. So the earlier that every single Nigerian understand this law of depopulate and conquer, the better for every single one of us to make sure we rise and protect our ancestral homes. If we do not do anything, most of us, we have no place to call home. Thank you so much.
So which means fundamentally, home is very critical to the survival of generations. Mr. Stephen, can you shed more light to that, the fact of ancestral, because I know you of course, you also are part of those who experienced the war, and where a part of a people were about to be eliminated and their ancestral home, laid bare and then given over to some other people before, somehow, many of them were killed. Talking about the Biafrans. Can you give your perspective to this, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Kelechi. And a big thanks to my co-contributors, and say co-conspirators to the significance of ancestral land. This ancestral land cannot be overestimated. In the discussions that I've had so far, I've been able to pick up each and every one of my colleagues that really is helping me to shape my response as I waited to make a contribution. Any alive has had to face fundamental and identity questions, which are, who am I here and where do I go from here? Those three really define your person, your purpose, and your death. The very first part of it is, who am I? Now, that defines my person. Brings two components. Has in it two components: my name and my land. I am Demola Faleti. That's my name. It's Yoruba land. So the importance, the significance of my identity is actually ancestral land, which is actually a compound one for ancestry, which simply means that if I don't have another, I'm just another wanderer, like the nomadic Fulanis, ancestral land, and out of our heart, I've had an opportunity to get them sneak in and try to take over. Land is so important that once you take that out of identity, or they virtually lost their. In fact, that's very evident in the lifestyle of the nomadic Fulani, because they don't have any land of ancestry. They've been wanderers in the desert over the years. The inborn need for an ancestral identity that is driving them because they don't have any moral compass. They can find some land and try to make it their own. And that's what people about why this fight is important. I don't of where Nigeria came from. And the other, we need to the fight to reclaim ancestral land, not by that Nigeria has, but by going to the root of why in the first place. And that leads me to say this: Nigeria had a leadership problem. Let me by saying this. First of all, the land area, the land, God did not create Nigeria. God created 3 major ancestral lands within area that the British called Nigeria. Major tribes there: Hausa, Yoruba goes on the east. There are other ethnic identities in between those. Of those major tribes has an ancestral land. So growing up, you've never heard of any you've never heard of Yoruba Hausa, you've never heard of Igbo Hausa. It was the nomads with no ancestral heritage that the Hausa Fulani became to create a pseudo tribe or pseudo ancestry. You to see the value and the significance of having an so we need to look at the quest for ancestral land, a problem that goes beyond the management of the political system, a fight to wrest our land from the nomad space, and only made it for themselves out of the greatness of our hearts, and this then, which has turned out to be a miscalculation now of the British slave to perpetuate the slave mentality by giving the reins of power to the nomads, who they know easily manipulate so that they can continue to keep us captive.
Wow. I want us now to look at it critically based on the fact that we have many of our people being Nigerians rather than being, of their roots, because Nigeria has become a definition of foolishness and of a brain or an intelligence quotient that is in comatose. Now, Prince Ezem, I want to bring this question to you critically because now we might have people out there who are saying, but what are you people talking about? The Yorubas are still in their land, the Biafrans are still on their land, the Hausas are still on their land, and you're talking about land. Who is sending you away from your land? But they may not understand the divide here, and they may just be confused, because what Nigeria have done to the brains of most of our people. Now, what is the connection between ancestral roots and deprived sovereign territory?
Thank you. Let me deal with deprived sovereign territory. You see, I've given you the theory of the 5 fingers. One thing people must know is that each community it's a matter of must define themselves, must be original to the extent where it doesn't matter what comes in. It doesn't matter how different whatever comes in. Whatever comes in must not be what dictates what happens in a community. you begin to tamper with the originality of a place, whenever whatever comes in begins to define the originality of that place. Now, that is what the British did, and that is what the British have taught the Fulanese to do. That means they're looking to uproot everything that is original from every location, and they now want to invade themselves there. Didn't you see it? Britain came with their culture, came with everything, and imposed it to the level where if your name is Kelechi and they are struggling to pronounce it, they will tell you, from today you are called John. From today. And if you refuse to answer John, you were killed. They kill you. Now, I don't know whether people can understand what is going on here. But then you ask yourself, because it's about this uprooting of the origin of your originality, of your spirituality, of your personality, of your culture, uprooting it. Now, what they don't know is that in doing so, they are also depriving themselves of your uniqueness. Always keep an eye on your 5 fingers. Each finger has something unique to contribute to the overall equation. When one destroys any finger, what happens is that the functionality of the hand will be weakened automatically, and the rest must then overcompensate. Because none of the fingers can replace the other. That is why each is very unique. In the same way, God made you as an individual, as a community, as a country, as a continent, very unique. You are irreplaceable. But these blind people, claiming to be civilized and religious, claiming to be the bearers of knowledge, are so blind. They just cannot understand what God has done with man and what God has placed us here to do. They have no proper definition of humanity, let alone the purpose for which we are here. That's why they are very blind. That's why they gave you curriculum that will blind and destroy your children. And your children will waste valuable time in the school learning about parts of an insect that nobody has ever eaten nor operated upon, an insect that adds no value to anything. That is why the Oduduwa, the Yoruba nation and Biafran nation will destroy all that we believe is irrelevant to humanity, and we will introduce human-friendly, human-compatible narratives, concepts, and ideologies. Anything that does not bear the truth, anything that is nothing to do with the truth, we will discard it. And every concept and everything we put in that curriculum must be relevant to a particular location. And we're going to bring out a masterpiece which the whole world obviously will have to see and subscribe to. And that is the only time you will see the true light, and you will see what God, the glory that God has given to humanity on this earth. So we must do the needful, and the time is now. We can't miss it now.
That means, Dr. Modupe, that means that there's a connection between sovereign control and your ancestral roots. That means there's no disconnect. If you have to actually have a fundamental success with your roots or your ancestral roots, you cannot disconnect it from sovereign control or sovereignty from external control. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And again, if we go back to that same, the plan, which means we need to stop them from having control over their future, right? So that way, that's actually the disconnection right there. That is the goal. That's how they plan to do the disconnection, and they've been doing it gradually over time. Let me give you, let's just talk about this together. When the British came, right, they started with the name. Remember, your name is your identity, right? So they separate you from what your name is. So they said, you, this group, you are no longer Yorubas, you are no longer Igbos, you are no longer Urobos, you are no longer Edos, you are all Nigerians. And so over time, we have all, accepted a name that was imposed on us. Because the reason why I said that is because, if we were to change our names, as different groups and to forfeit our sovereignties, to a specific, and agree to answer to one name, it should be from those units. It should be from those ethnic groups, not by somebody outside that will now come and say, you and you and you are now called Nigerian, right? If we should decide to be called another name other than, I'm a Yoruba person, you're an Igbo person, it should all be something that we deliberate on, right? We should all deliberate on it and agree and reach a consensus and say, yes, we want to answer to this name. But that was not the case. So that's number one. So if you want to actually separate somebody from their ancestry, the first thing, you take their identity from them. And that's the first thing they did. Then they now went into the different, the different pieces and parts of how you can completely detach the person from their roots. And I keep saying the roots, right? Because when you take somebody's identity, then you take their language, how they communicate. Look at you and I cannot even communicate if we remove English, correct or not? We cannot communicate if we remove English. And so that's what they did. So they forcibly put us together and say, you are now going to be speaking this language. And whose language is it? The language of the colonial masters, right? That's what they did, right? So again, so one strike, the second strike, the first strike is your identity, right? The second strike is your language. So who are you if you need to define yourself, right? If you wake up in the morning and you say, thank goodness, thank God. The first thing, the language that you will speak to thank God is going to be your native language. Am I lying?
Very well.
Right? Exactly. So that's who you are. So they were gradually detaching, separating us from that root. And so over time, we have now become what they want us to be. And that's why you even see, many of us still saying, one Nigeria. I'm proud to be a Nigerian. And I've said it before, Dr. Ngozi can attest to it. Anywhere that I am, when they're saying I'm not a Nigerian, that's not who I am. Somebody told me to be a Nigerian. No, I'm not. I do not define myself that way. But again, let me go back to the different steps that they're using, or examples of the different steps that they're using to kind of separate us from our roots. So they went with the name, they went with the language. Now they are your livelihood. Remember that if we go back into our history, every ethnic Africans, right? There are certain trades or methods of livelihood that are synonymous with each group, right? I do know that my people, like, we are mainly farmers, right? In Yoruba land, we're mainly farmers, right? So what did they do? They came in with their pastoralist, pastoralism, herding and stuff like that, cattle rearing and everything, and now infringing on our land, which we use to cultivate the food, which is really our source of livelihood, which is what we are synonymous with, farmers. So what are they doing? They're going and going into those lands and forcibly taking the land away from the people. That's number 3, right? Number four, religion. You see what I'm saying? So they've used our people and say, oh, you know what? Forget about your ancestral religion. Oh, it's not good. They told us everything, everything. They told us everything that is bad about our religion and not one single thing that is good about it, right? But then they brought all this, all this other religion, Abrahamic religion, which are not really indigenous to us. Let's be very honest. And I can tell, I'm a Muslim. I mean, like, I was born to a Muslim, but then all those are really, they are not indigenous to my people, right? But what I'm saying is that they now make people, I mean, like, if you ask a Yoruba person, is that, what kind of religion do you practice? Is it that they are Muslim or a Christian? Very few will say I'm a traditional, I'm a traditionalist, or I'm a, I practice tradition. But that is part of your identity, guys. Have we, but we don't see it. We identify, with religions that are foreign to us. That's number four, right? Okay.
Very well.
Number five, governing. They now went and said, oh, you know what? This is how we're going to govern you. And you cannot even have a say in how we're governing you, right? But they pretend as if, oh, yeah, you have a say, right? They come, I mean, like, they will present to you, oh, okay, well, we have this constitution that we, the people, did not even make, right? You made you made the content of what is in that paper, in that document. And then even with the enforcement, you haphazardly decide which one to enforce and which one to not enforce. The same rule that you said that you're going to use, right? You said that you said in the Constitution that this union is a secular state, right? But no, what are you practicing in your own part? So come on now, who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? So do you start to can you now see how gradually the pieces and parts of how they have tried to prevent us from having control over our lives, right? Over our future. This is how they're doing it. This is how they are separating us from our roots. And believe me, we need to stand up. We need to say no. And I don't know if it's the Stockholm syndrome that is wrong with us. We really need to, shake ourselves out of it. We really need to wake up and shake ourselves out of this and begin to speak. And what should we be saying? We need to have control over our future, self-determination. We should be able to determine how we want to be governed on our own land, on our own ancestral land. And we should be able to do what we know to do, to make source of livelihood, which is being able to go to our farms and being able to till our land and cultivate crops on our land without these people, without foreign people coming, invading our land and killing our people and raping our mothers and our sisters and killing our fathers on their own land. Now you tell me, how many groups? Because as we've been discussing, many people will be listening and be saying, "Oh, why are you attacking this one specific ethnic group?" We're not attacking anybody. We are just going by the facts. I do not know any ethnic group other than the Fulanis that will leave their own whatever place, because they do. They've taken a part of the north, right? They gave them a part of the north, right? Which they took forcibly. And the Hausas have been so gracious to allow them, to have control over that place. But still, they are the only group of people, set of people that will go into other people's land and kill people on their land. When, for example, we have several ethnic groups in Lagos, right? We have the Igbos in Lagos. When they come to do business. They come to, to contribute to the economy, right? They are not in Lagos and saying, you know what, I'm going to take this land and I'm not going to pay you. They buy the land if they want to do business in it, right? They integrate with the culture, they integrate with the society. But this group, what they do is, I want to be rearing cows in the middle of the street in this century. And you want to now force your way of life on people on their land. We're not saying if you want to rear your cows and and also herd your cows in the middle of the street of in Sokoto, that's your land, do it there. But you cannot say that you will that you want to force your way of life on me in Lagos, in Ondo State. So these are some of the things that, these are some of the reasons why we're speaking out. These are some of the reasons why we're talking. So when people hear us talk and they're and they're wondering why are we talking like this, this is why we're speaking like this. Because it's ridiculous. Can you imagine somebody, Dr. Ngozi, looking outside of your street in Atlanta, Georgia, and seeing a group of, cattle? You see cattle being reared on the streets. That would be so, that is ridiculous. And you are asking people to, to accept that. Talk about, passing Ruga bills and all this, ridiculous stuff. Come on now. I'm just going to leave it there, pause it there. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's a great one. Now, there's something I always say, that speed is good and recommended only when you've learned the art of control. I didn't say act of control, I said art of control, which means there's a process to this that have to do with creativity. That means that if we are going to talk about ancestral roots, we cannot take off the concept of control, which means that if we have no control over our ancestral home or ancestral land and all of that, we are only headed for destruction. Dr. Ngozi, what do you have to say about that? Yeah, you're muted. Please check your...
Okay. Thank you, Kelechi. Thank you, Dr. Dupe and Prince. Everyone, you can see how fired up people are, how angry people are when these issues are being discussed. And due to this, and again, some of the things we express here, I'm telling you, I've been... so many Nigerians are expressing the same thing. And that is why it's very, very important, very critical that come 2023, it's either a referendum in Nigeria for people to decide how they want to be part of this system that continuously degrade human worth, human dignity. How can we talk about sovereignty when in that same sovereign state, there is a control, a planned, perpetuated control of who is going to be free, who is not going to be free, who talks, who does not talk, who goes to jail, who does not go to jail, in the same system? How long is this going to continue? It's not going to continue for long. That is why it's going to be very, very difficult for these leaders that have been perpetuating this, I'll call it crime. There's a lot of crime against humanity going on in Nigeria. And I strongly believe it is time for that crime to stop. That is why a lot of Nigerians are going to rise up in 2023. Both from the east, west, north, and south, and middle belt. They are going to rise up because this continual perpetuation of caging people, of taking over people's land, of having two different laws. Dr. Modupeola talked about having two different laws in a country that's supposed to be secular, where you have the Sharia law in about 12 northern states in Nigeria, and even maybe more right now. And then you have the rest of the country practicing the regular, in quote, constitution for them. So that act of control whereby, and I would like my listeners to know that this perpetuation of criminality in Nigeria is happening by the leaders. In Nigeria, there are just two classes of people, and you see them everywhere. In the East, they are there. In the West, they are there. In the Middle Belt, in the North, in the South, they are there. Those that continue to perpetuate this criminality against the Nigerian indigenes, they are cut across the whole part of the entity called Nigeria. It's not just in one place. So it is time for Nigerians to know and say, enough of this crime, enough of this criminality, enough of these different rules for different people, enough of this, if the court, where the court system does not work. The court releases somebody, your case is adjourned, your case is dismissed and acquitted, and you are still sitting in the court today because some people believe that they don't want you to be free. How long are we going to continue to live in a society like that where the justice system becomes useless? And I say this perpetuation of criminality is being done by most of the leaders in Nigerian leadership today. That is why I keep telling people there are just two classes of people in Nigeria: the rulers and those that are being ruled. The rulers will do everything possible. They will use everything necessary, including our Nigerian military and police, to hunt down, to destroy the citizens. It does not matter. They believe they have the power of the gun. They believe they have the money, the billions of naira. They can print it and use it to pay their way, pay people to perpetuate evil and criminality in all parts of Nigeria. This must stop. We cannot continue to live in a society where people believe that they have the power to decide what other people become. That is why we are so you are so limited to what you can do in Nigeria. Very, very limited. You start a business with, let me say, $500,000. The next day, you're looking for the money. You're looking, because nothing to grow that business is working. You can't even guarantee that money you left there. You cannot even guarantee the investment you make. Just because some people, they don't care. No, it's not their business. As long as they are comfortable, that is okay. Dr. Modupeola was talking about economic power. Why are we talking about economy? What government goes down and start burning down people's businesses and homes and markets? What government of a country goes to a particular area and sets people's houses on fire, sets people's markets on fire because he's not happy? He is not happy. What government does that? And nobody is talking. Nobody. The government is not talking. The House of Legislature members we elected from that area, they are not talking. The senators are not talking. The chairman of the local governments, they are not talking. Why? Because they're already caged. How long will that continue? How can you grow? If you go home to your village and you build, okay, you get a little money, and you go to your home and you build your own house and say, okay, there's a place. If I go to my ancestral home, I'm just going to go there and relax and just feel free. And then some people, under the watchful eye of the government, both the federal government and the state government, they come and raise the whole place and set it on fire. and nobody is talking. And this happens in all parts of Nigeria. I'm telling you. That is why this cannot continue. It must stop. This is the time to stop it. So either we divide Nigeria to make it possible for the citizens to be able to participate and make the rules that will make their communities grow. Or whatever happens, I think everybody is ready for that. Because I keep telling people why the politicians are getting ready to continue to perpetuate the criminality of ruling, and they're doing whatever they want, then other people, the citizens, are also getting ready. So that is the way it's going to be. And I believe in 2023, is going to, this rain, that rain must fall. Let me stop here. Thank you.
That rain must fall. I don't know if Mr. Demola is still here. I can see his network signal is very, very poor. Just a stroke here. I don't know whether Mr. Stephen, can you hear me? I think you have to go out and come in. The network signal from your side is very, very poor. I think there's some connection stuff here. Now, Prince, there's we have come to the end of 2022. We have decided that 2023 will not keep Nigeria and that name again in this life and in this world. We are going to erase anything Nigeria. Now, but I want us to look critically something that has to do, just like Dr. Modupeola said, we should bring the issue of religion into this, and that has been my, my concern here, and one of the points I want to touch here. Now, she made mention of this critically in line with the concept of subjugation and the design to actually put the people under that. And of course, we know religion portends so many things. Religion affects economy, affects way of life, affects the operations modus and the government establishment constitution and all of that. So religion is basically a cultural approach or a cultural definition to the reality of things. Now, I want to ask you here, how do you, let's look at it critically now. If you look at the Oduduwa nation, you see that the divide is so much, is so high. The Muslims, majority of them are Christians, majority of them are also traditional, different, doing different things, worshiping different. How would these people control the excesses of religion as they get ready for their freedom, which of course they said they are also ready to take?
Thank you so much for that question. Can I begin by saying that everything is to do with understanding. Understanding is everything. And I want people to know that religion is the singular and the most devastating weapon used to destroy Africans. And it's important that everybody knows that there is never a reaction without an action. Now, I've said it before, I've told people to abandon religion and focus on spirituality, because religion will preach peace, but will practice war. Religion will preach unity, but will practice division. And I have kept saying this, that we need to study Christ. And when we study Christ, we will find that we were giving imitation Christ. And this imitation Christ was used to enslave man. In fact, Africans used the same imitation Christ and branded it into a vehicle through which people began to plant seeds, sow seeds in places where seeds do not germinate, in pockets of thieves, pretending to be men and women of God. pockets where seeds do not germinate. Now, I need people to really appreciate this. Religion is a byproduct of that belief system that mortal beings are basically animals. I need you to mark these words very carefully, and especially for my Oduduwa sister and brother that are here, because I would love you to take this message. And you don't even know what I feel about somebody like Professor Banji, the man I see as a father that we are struggling to have in the whole of Biafra land. We don't have such father. I'm still looking for that father in Biafra land. Now, I want everybody looking out for this freedom to now understand that what you are practicing as religion is the most devastating, destructive agent that is used to destroy you. Don't forget that when you take a close examination of the true life of Christ, Christ was a unifier. It doesn't matter whether you believe in him or not. That's irrelevant. But the true Christ spoke to humanity. The true Christ was that said, there is no more Jew nor Gentile, no more slave nor free, no more man nor woman. And he ensured that even his most potent gospel, his most potent sermon, he delivered it from the mountaintop. Mountaintop because he was talking to entire humanity. There was no division. But these people came and branded Christ as meek and lowly. So you can remain meek and lowly whilst they destroy you. So because the true Christ was a rebel of the highest order, he rebelled against everything systemic designed to destroy man. He rebelled against the true rulers of his time, who were the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the high priests. He rebelled against them. And some people want to portray Christ as someone who was very calm and, in fact, lacking in enjoyment of fun. No, Christ wasn't that. Christ was he was full of life. He wanted people to enjoy themselves. That was why when he observes the congregation and they are hungry, he would manufacture food and feed them. He went to a wedding, and once the wine finished, he didn't want people bored. He turned water into wine so people can enjoy themselves. These people came. In fact, if you understand the true life of Christ, you would never have allowed these people to sell you and destroy your lives, because you will rebel against them and stop them. I want people from today to know that everything stems from the design that people turned mortal beings into basic animals. And it is those that believed in this concept and agreed with it that are doing this damage. Now, let me remind everybody about the purpose of man on earth and the gift of God to man. God created everything. That is why each of us, it doesn't matter whether it is you and me, our parents, our ancestors, each of us came out of that womb empty-handed. I don't know of anybody that brought anything into this world. So God created all these things. The difference being that only to man that God made recreators. Animals haven't got that capacity. So it is a lie that man is a basic animal. God made man recreator, that man can use what God has already created, apply their uniqueness into it, and begin to reintroduce things by using things God had already created. And to each, he gave unique talent and also limitation. That unique talent and limitation is just that ability to alter things. That means we are the ones that have the capacity to alter animals, to alter nature, to alter even ourselves, but with limitations. I've given you this example before. And each time we try to alter the impossibility, we create problem for ourselves. We begin to destroy ourselves. You know very well that every dog on earth naturally eat meat. They eat meat. Wherever you go, a dog would eat meat. A dog will never eat grass anywhere in the world. But God made man and gave man the ability to alter a dog to even begin to eat grass. How do we do that? We will take meat and we will mix it with grass, and the dog will start eating grass without knowing that it is in the meat. But our limitations are such that no matter how we alter what a dog eats, we can never be able to make a dog go and cultivate or reproduce what it eats. We can never be able to do that. Man decided to alter fellow man to such a level that they wanted to, and each time you subscribe to that ideology that man is an animal, your behavior automatically will be worse than that of an animal. That's why Europeans are behaving worse than animals. Because it doesn't matter how much you believe that man is an animal, you can never be a basic animal. It will not stop you from designing poison. It will not stop you from deploying or using weapons. Things that no animal can do. Because if you are a basic animal, why not behave like a basic animal so that we can control you, so we can anticipate what you're going to do, so you will stop planning evil and designing all these nonsensical, trying to poison the air. Which animal goes about to poison the air? Which animal goes about to serve you poison and carry weapon and come and wait for you in the street? Which animal does that? So I am still begging all those who say that mortal beings are basic animals, and those who agree with them, to please, please, please start behaving like basic animals so that humanity can breed. This is what is driving all this madness you're seeing in this world, and that is why Biafra and Oduduwa nations will bring such a light in this world that human beings will suddenly ask themselves, why have we been this stupid? How did we allow ourselves to go down this low? Because it is impossible to agree that you're a basic animal without acting worse than an animal. It is impossible. Because that belief will never make you do what animals do. It will now make you turn into a dangerous being that will threaten everything on earth. So please, 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 let us all wake up and understand the real driving force behind the evil that we are seeing. When we understand it, then we will know that all these people we are calling leaders, these are worse than animal creatures. They are not leaders. No, they are not. These are mad people walking around. We need to capture this, because if we don't, we'll keep banging our heads on the wall. Because if you lack understanding of what is propelling what you are seeing, you can even go mad. But when you understand it, then you can begin to walk your way towards rectifying it. No one on earth can ever deal with something they haven't understood. And I call upon all of us to understand the propelling factors that are yielding these mad results you're seeing, because of people who have fixated themselves and and are in idolatrous worship of what their limited eyesight can see. These people are worshiping money, money that the human being recreated, money that human being gave name, money that human beings gave meaning, money that human being gave value. The same people are the ones that will tell you that it is foolish to destroy a goose or geese because of their golden eggs. But they are destroying mortal beings that made crude oil what it is, that gave crude oil the value it has. The same people. Now, when you go down to this level of understanding, you will begin to pity these people, and you will come to agree with me that psychiatry is simply a fraud against the weak, the vulnerable, and the poor, because psychiatry has no provision for the people that needed it most. The people that needed psychiatry most are these demons, these evil people who tell you they are righteous and they are civilized, but they are propelled by madness, intense madness that we still have not come up with the proper diagnosis, let alone prognosis. We have work to do, and we must do that work, and the time is now. I thank you.
Wow. Mr. Demola, you see, let's bring it down to the Oduduwa nation. You know, the divide, you know, the religious divide is fantastic. Let me say that, let me use that word. Now, and you know that every time, if you look at what happened during that Lekki, you know, tollgate issue, even in the elections too, you see there's always this talk of, no, he's a Christian, no, he's a Muslim, no, there's this and there's that, he's this and all of that. And we are talking about freedom. The same Christians, the same Muslims, the same traditionalists and all of that are going to come together to decide to be free. And to run. What do you think? Because I know you understand the Oduduwa people very well. You understand their mindset. You understand their mental makeup, their psychical disposition, and all of that. How possible is it for every Oduduwa person to down of religion for their freedom?
Kelechi, it is very possible. It is very, and at this point in our self-determination effort, we are through a combination education and worsening at the grassroots. We earlier on, before I lost signals and I had to leave, trying to understand the loss of sovereignty, ancestral land. I wanted to come back and say, and I want my colleagues have been very gracious in describing for people in Nigeria that I think Dr. Ngozi said they're being ruled. And I think Prince said the leaders and those who have been led. I am not gracious, I apologize. The only two kinds of people in Nigeria, the oppressors and the oppressors and the oppressed. The goal of the oppressor to marginalize the oppressed, both to the extent of physical and psychological loss of their identity. Able to successfully marginalize a person to the psychological loss of them, and a person's identity is at the root of their personhood. They don't know with someone else. That is what has happened in Nigeria. People go around with the different narratives that Nigeria is an ungovernable country. That's partly true. Nigeria is because for one thing, it is not a country to begin with. It doesn't fit And it's ungovernable because there are no leaders and there are no rulers. Bunch of a few elite oppressors use the Fulani Caliphate agenda to oppress. My colleagues have spoken quite eloquently about the different tools that are being used. And all those tools are the principle of divide and conquer. Those tools that have been described earlier on have been used to divide and conquer us. The biggest of them is the religion that we're talking about now, but taking quite some time, we've realized that there is more than a religion that divides us. It took a while. Peace first came in, they tried to paint the whole agitation as a fight between and Islam. Nothing could be further from the truth. What can I call it? The road down, the road along the way was very, very to make a distinction within us that, wait a minute, we are, whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian or you're a traditional, we all have one thing in common. Yes, we all have one thing in common: oppressed under a few elite oppressors, the caliphate agenda. So through a series of education and unfortunately through the perpetuation of the going on at the grassroots level, people are progressively that the religion is actually not what divides us. In several families within the Oduduwa tribe communities, you can find several individuals within the same family, the three major religions. In my religion, and I think, excuse me, in my family, and as much as I know Dr. Dupe, there are in our families, there are Muslims, and there are traditionalists. And we've all gotten along. It's that realization that has gradually brought us together to realize that, wait a minute, our religion, the dividing factor, it's just the tool the operator over time to divide and conquer us, so they can see by using the religion, weaken the masses, the few uneducated, so they can easily achieve the objective. But even though the road has been long, beginning to see that we've actually passed a very critical in the agitation at this point, the very end, that you can't even sing that song to any and say, oh, it's a religion. Nobody will listen to you. So I wanted to allude to the economic tools. Dr. Modupeola alluded very succinctly earlier on how they've gone and decimated our family. When I was growing up, we grew just about everything we needed in the South. As years passed out, I got lost in the diaspora, and tomatoes were being imported from the North. I can tell you about a number of industries that have been, some of us may remember, there was the Nkalagu cement factory. There was Ewekoro cement factory in the West producing cement. But see, the the oppressors, in order to have used their economic tools to decimate those industries, and one of their own, called Aliko Dangote, was a Harvard MBA business genius, only to find out caliphate tool that is being used to further colonize us economically. And our eyes are open now that it is not the religion, it is just the tool that the enemy has used as a divide and conquer mechanism because to take our ancestral land from us. See, because the point is, you mentioned earlier, say, we have lost our ancestral land, we still live here. Well, it's one thing to live in your ancestral land. It's another thing to have a sovereign rule over your ancestral land. We've lost sovereignty over, we still live here. And that is no good position to be. And they've gone further to say, we have a leadership problem. No, we need to change the narrative. And if we leave, and I regret to have to sign out, is that we need to change the narrative. For 2023. Oh yeah, Baba Olule. Oh yeah, no, you must be obedient. These are tools of divide and conquer that the caliphate to use to continue to capture us. I was telling somebody that the only two major candidates campaigning are Southerners. Tinubu. Why? Because the caliphate wants to divide the southern vote. Can any difference really? Because it's not an election, it's election. But at least on paper, for the southern vote equally between the two southerners. The vote will come to the north that is waiting for Atiku. And that's why Atiku has not been campaigning. You cannot convince some people that are benefiting from the chaos otherwise. But the fact remains that we've come so far, a few hours left before we say, hallelujah, we've reached our promised land. Thank you. Maybe signing out in about a few minutes. Thank you, sir. Okay. Thank you to all my colleagues. And thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I just have one more question, but before I ask that question, I'm going to be asking Dr. Modupeola this particular question on religion, because, of course, she actually made the first point of religion, and of course, knowing the terrain, knowing the situation back home.
Well, I think something is wrong with his connection.
Yeah, with Kelechi's. Yeah, I think we lost him.
Right. Everybody, I have to leave for another appointment.
That's okay, Steven. Yeah, I think we lost Kelechi. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you later. Okay. Yeah, let's see if he's going to join us.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, while we wait for him, Dr. Modupeola, I know Kelechi was talking about that religion, how the people use religion to get what they want, to suppress the people, to have their ways. And I don't know if you have anything to say on that before
I do. Yes, I do. And, I'm going to start from where Prince left off. When he said something, he made a very, very important point, and that kind of, rang a bell with me. He said that, religion, that really, the way the religion has been made, that is really, that we should actually use religion as spiritual. We should pick the spirituality out of religion. And so I'm going to start from there. In my perspective, religion has two components. There's a spirituality part of it, and then the second part of it is the part that actually appeals to your sense of, of being, right? So they use that in our, I mean, in so-called in Nigeria, they use religion to kind of, to control individuals, right? Meanwhile, hold on one second. Hold on. I'm in the middle of something. They use religion to kind of control individuals, right? And in doing that, remember that even in science, you and I know the fight or flight kind of components of who we are as human beings, right? If you're faced with danger or you're faced with something that challenges you as a human being, is it that you fight or you fly or you run, right? So basically what that part of the dogmatic part of religion that they are emphasizing and they are pushing on us is to emphasize the flight part of us, so that you are not there to fight, by telling you, oh, God said, oh, if somebody slaps you, the left, on the left side, just turn the right side, just be nice. Somebody wants to kill you, just talk to them, beg them, do this, do that, those kinds of. So by doing that, they're emphasizing the weaker part of religion, the dogmatic part of religion, which they use to control individuals. Individuals. Religion is not meant to control people. Religion is actually is meant for you to strengthen your relationship with your maker. It's your relationship with your maker, and you define that. But guess what? They define how you, to the point that they define how you relate with your maker, right? And they're using even our clergy people, our pastors and all these, spiritual, so-called spiritual fathers, to kind of, dig, double down and dig deeper into that control. And that's what they've been able to use religion to do. And I think that we need to educate ourselves and our people that you should not allow that, you should not allow them to use the religion to control you and to control your mind. What you should take out of religion is the spirituality and not the dogmatism, because the dogmatism is the one that is putting you in that oppressive state. And that's what you need to resist. And we need to educate ourselves about that.
Wow. On the issue of religion, we're still going to be talking more on that, not today, but I just want to round off because I don't know, since my network have decided to be dealing with me now. So I'm just going to, we have to round off now. But quickly, I want us, because we have less than 48 hours to the next year, and I want us to talk to the people in light of what we all are expecting, what is going to be happening next year. Now, we know that the Fulanis, they don't reason. They will always come the way they come. You see, when they are supplied weapons and all of that, you see them screaming and shouting, and they are always so they just move like them because they have the promise. They have the promise of 72 virgins. Miss Dr. Modupeola can tell us about that more, about the 72 virgins and all of that they're going to inherit after they are killed by anybody through jihad and all of that. So they are always coming desirous. They don't care if you kill them. And this is what is motivating them. That's why you see brainless Fulanis, they just come with that and they are screaming and they are attacking you. When you kill them, they believe that they're going to meet some wonderful virgins, 72 of them, and about 800 other ladies who will be serving them, and then enough alcohol in the heaven they're expecting. Now, these are the facts that, and that means that they will come more for attacks. You see, they are attacking Biafra land right now. They are attacking some parts of Oduduwa land, not as Biafra land now, but they are attacking. Now, in 2023, January, based on the fact that the election is coming up, they are going to begin massive and more attacks. What do you have to say? Dr. Orabueze, let me go with you first, just briefly. We're running off with this. We're not going to exhaust this topic right now in this particular question. We're going to treat it next week, Friday, as soon as we get into the new year. What is your mindset about this, and what do you expect people to begin to do now, community-wise, to see that they make sure that the attacks, the expected attacks, must be stopped by the people themselves?
Yeah. Thank you, Kelechi. The attacks you see happening in all parts of Nigeria today, especially in the southeast, southwest. It happens in the north too, where hundreds of people are being murdered every day. So these attacks is not going to stop unless the communities, unless we as a people stop these attacks. T.Y. Danjuma has told all Nigerians that these terrorist invaders, that they collude with the government. So the government knows what they are doing to conquer, to displace people, and to take over their lands. So T.Y. Danjuma have said, if you all know where these terrorists are getting their guns and whatever they are using to attack the people, Nigerians, go and get it too and be ready. Self-defense is not a crime. You cannot sit down in your home and somebody will enter your home and kill you and go away. And you just die. That's the end of you. Self-defense is very, very important. Every Nigerian must arm themselves the way T.Y. Danjuma has said. T.Y. Danjuma is an ex-military chief, and he knows more than you and I. He knows that these terrorist invaders, they've surrounded most parts of Nigeria. They're everywhere. In the northern part of Nigeria, I think Borno, Zamfara, these terrorists are collecting taxes from the indigenous citizens.
Kaduna Plateau.
If they don't pay, they use them as slaves. So we are under heavy attack. And the only way is to confront these people with the same weapon, with the same way, with the same machinery that they come to kill our people and maim us. That is the only way that we have to get ready, and we have to attack and confront them the way they are doing to us. I had somebody, Barrister Angel Father, was telling the Southeasterners, oh, calm down, lay down, calm down. And the other day I heard the is the governor of Enugu State, one of these governors was telling people, oh, we're going to give you amnesty. How can you give amnesty to the owners of the land? How can you grant amnesty to the indigenous Nigerians that own the land? That shows you that these governors are accomplices to what is going on in Nigeria. And every Nigerian individual must stand up and defend your community with whatever you have. If you don't defend your community, these terrorist invaders, they will come and kill you. They will kill your family. They will kill your mothers. They will rape you. We're talking about farm. Where are you going to farm if your whole farm has been invaded with cows everywhere? Then when you plant your crops, before a couple of months, the whole crops are being destroyed by cows. How can you grow economically when your farms are being destroyed? How can you eat food when your farms are being destroyed? And some people will be telling you, oh, you have to calm down and then when you calm down, we give you amnesty. Then when we give you amnesty, you lay down your arms. A sitting governor is telling his people in, I think it's Enugu State, recently I read it, to lay down their arms, but he's not telling the Fulani terrorists to lay down their arms. So, who does that? So you want people to lay down their arms, and you are going to give them amnesty in their own indigenous land. Then those that are invading and killing, you're not telling them to lay down their arms. So it is very, very important that Nigerians must rise up and defend themselves. And when I say this, I mean it. We must rise up and defend our land, defend our farms, defend ourselves, because the leaders have made it possible for these terrorists to invade all the nooks and corners of Nigeria. All the leaders in the east, west, north, and south, including the middle belt. And some of them are parading today to be the next president of Nigeria. And you still see some Nigerians, despite the bad history of some of these leaders, are following them during campaigns, are trying to vote for them. And you keep wondering, what is going on? So, the psyche, the mentality of most Nigerians have been messed up. I'm telling you, due to years of oppression, years of suppression. even some of them inside Nigeria, when things are going bad, they can't talk because they are afraid to talk. Because they believe if they talk tomorrow, these Fulani terrorists are going to send people to come and harm them. So some of them, they are helpless and hopeless. That is why it's very important that we, those that can be able to help in delivering our communities from these invaders, from these terrorists, we must stand up and we will use everything possible to make sure we confront these people and all the people enabling them, which are mostly those leaders that are enabling them. So I think that's what we have to do. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. In fact, Dr. Modupe.
Yes, I definitely, I really, my sister, I am 100% with you. We truly need, because like you said, self-defense is not a crime, right? And we did not go to their land. They are the ones wanting to invade our land. And they already said it. They said in their delusion that the land has been given to them by their father. How can your father give you what does not belong to him, or what never belonged to him? So that's number one. So we do need to defend ourselves, right? And so right now, again, that's why the unity, because we have unity of purpose, the unity will actually go a long way. In my language, they said that you have to like you basically, it's like two hands washes. I mean, like one hand washes the other. You cannot wash your hand, but just you have to use one hand to wash the other. So again, the collaboration is going to help, right? And we need to make it loud and clear that our people, that we will not give up our land without defending ourselves. That's number one. But also, there are also multiple ways that we can help to defend our land as well. You and I, Dr. Ngozi, while we're not there physically to help to defend our land, what we are going to do is to educate and also encourage those who are there to say, yes, it is within your right to do so. Because you know what? They are also using some of our so-called leaders amongst us to threaten us. Just this past week, Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State had the nerve to be threatening his people for asking for self-determination. So talks like this will also help to encourage those at home that do not listen to people like that guy, like Akeredolu. In fact, shame on him, Mr. Akeredolu. Shame on you, sir. And I say that with no reservation. Shame on you, sir, that you will come out and you will come and be threatening your own people. Was it not under your watch in May? Was it not May or June when they brutally murdered people while worshiping? Right? What have you done to hold these people accountable? But now you're telling your people that they should not seek, they should not even that they should not come out and talk about their concerns. That if they do that, you're threatening them with arrest and prosecution and all those nonsense. And you call yourself a senior advocate of nonsense. Please, honestly, no. I mean, with all honesty, I'm saying that it is time now that you and everybody will do their part, right? And I know people are saying, yes, we need to defend ourselves because like you said, General Danjuma said it. He said that these people, that the government, you cannot rely on them because they collude with these criminals. They collude. Yes, well. And I used the word when I came in earlier today. I used the word Maruda for a reason. I know I could use nomads. They are not nomads. There's a difference between a nomad and a Maruda. A nomad is just looking for a home, and they will settle and they will integrate if that's a nomad, right? But a Maruda wants to steal and pillage. That's who a Maruda is. So I use that word for a purpose, and that's their plan. It's always been their plan, and they are doing everything to actualize it. That's why their son Buhari has pushed every single agenda to make sure that he actualizes the Fulani plan. And the Fulani plan is conquest. to conquer other people's land. I was reading, some of the chats here, or some of the responses from, from viewers here, and they said, that the Fulanis originated from the Arab Republic of Egypt, and they were thrown out of there. Well, let them go back to their land. What they should do is go and claim your land back, not take other people's land. And so for that reason, right, if you're so cowardly to not fight, to go and take because to me, that is cowardice. Somebody took your land from you, go back and get it. Why are you trying to steal other people's land from them? So that way, we are not going to sit back, and we are going to do our part. And our part is to continue to educate and to encourage our people that what you're doing is not a crime. Asking for seeking self-determination on your ancestral land is not a crime. Sovereignty on your land is not a crime. Seeking seeking control over your future is not a crime. And so we need to continue to do our part to educate our people and say, do not allow these people to intimidate you, because you know what, they themselves are getting really desperate now for a sitting governor to come out and feel that the best thing for him is to threaten his people. Shame on you, sir. And I'll leave it there.
Wow. Thank you so much. Amoku, you can call back, and we've been having about 3 people call in during the program, but that was not the time. Please, you can call in now if you want to call in and you want to ask our guests questions, or just have a few minutes to round off so that they can go and continue their businesses and all of that. So if you want to call in, you want to ask a question, you want to contribute, you want to say something to contribute to the program, or you want to ask them a particular question, you can actually ask. We have the first caller, Omoku. You're welcome, my brother. You are live on Biafra Global Network, and you can say what is on your mind right now. Yes, go on, please.
Kelechi.
Yes, my brother. You can go on, please.
Happy to be here. I have a point to make. Let me start from here first. First, the Fulanese, they are originally from Arab Republic of Egypt. I was the one that made that comment. I am sure, in fact, they were the minority in Egypt, and they are power mongers. The same way they dragged power out of the hands of the indigenous Nigerians was the same way they wanted to drag power with the Egyptians.
Yeah, I think we have a network situation.
Okay, go on. I'm coming, okay? They left Egypt, and they invaded Sudan. When they invaded Sudan, let me make it short. The people today refer the Fulanese as the Janjaweed, but without the history of where that name originated. That name, Janjaweed, was named to the Fulanese after they invaded Sudan, and
yes, that's right,
started raping and killing Sudan. And thereafter, the Sudanese people named them that Janjaweed, which translates in their local dialect, a killer.
Oh, mine, your network. I don't know whether it's my network or your network, anyways. But
Janjaweed.
We're having problems with his network or my network. I don't know, but mine is showing full here. I don't know whether it's from your side. So you can still call back and just hang up and call back, to be sure that you actually. Okay, go on if you can hear us. Go on, please.
That would make the name to the game. It's not from my side. Are you there?
Yes, go on, please. Go on, please.
All right. I wanted to second what Dr. Orabueze said about the killing going on in Enugu State. Today, there is another invasion of another community, not Hamufu. And until the day, like the governor and one senator or whatever is the name of that guy that proposed for an amnesty. Amnesty for what? People invaded your community. People invaded your home to kill you. And your right to self-defense is not valid. And the only thing they could do is just to say amnesty. So are you giving amnesty to somebody who wanted to protect himself, or you are giving amnesty to somebody who is the attacker. See, my problem with these leaders is simple. Until the day we the people let know that their blood is not green, until the day the indigenous people tell the politicians that their blood is not yellow, until the day the indigenous people tell the politicians that their siblings, their mother, their father, their extended relatives, they equally bleed, these people will never take us for serious. The only reason that governor or whoever that was working together with him proposed amnesty for the indigenous people of Benue or Ehamufu was that their family is still standing. Their ancestral home is still standing. Every member of the family is still healthy and alive. Everybody that related to that guy, both their in-laws and whoever it is, every one of them is untouched. But I can guarantee you, any day we started taking on these people, even if we cannot lay our hands on them, even if we can extend their hand of friendship, let me use that word, friendship or fellowship, if we can extend our hands of fellowship to these people, to their families, believe me, they will change their attitude, they will change their way. If that guy, if the governor who is saying amnesty for me, that somebody who only God knows where this guy came from, to kill me in my own house. Now this guy is not talking to the person who came from nowhere to kill me. He's now telling me that I should drop my arms and come for amnesty. If this guy, his mother is alive, and I visit him, or somebody else visits his mother or his father, or if somebody, even in the hometown of his wife, where he got married from, if we visit that place, even though Goya, his in-law, if we visit the in-law, I'm telling you the truth, this guy will know that something is going on here. But for the fact that these people, nobody is touching them, and nobody is talking about them and their extended families, they'll keep on taking people for fools. I'm telling you, but I can guarantee you, today, the Fulanis understand one single message, because our leader said, pick up guns and fight them. Today, the Fulanis are running head basket. Business as usual is no more there. They no more invade our land with impunity. They no more come to, there are some certain areas today in Biafra land which the Fulanis cannot come and go free. You know why? They know that the people there have guns. We have guns. But before the introduction of ESN, the Fulanis was on rampage everywhere. They go to anywhere and they kill anybody they like. And they even threaten us. Imagine, there was a quote by Femi Adesina when he said that it is better you give out your land for Ruga, because if you do not give the Fulanis your land, they will eventually kill you and you will lose the land. So what is the essence of you holding the land and losing your life? Why don't you give them your land and be alive? Do you know why? We don't have guns then. Our leader did not ask us to take up arms. There was no ESN. But immediately we pick up arms, we pick up guns. That language was no more used against us anymore. No Fulani can threaten me to give him my land, or I lose my life, because he knows that I have a gun, and that gun kills people. My gun kills people. My gun is not toy. The bullet here kills people. So it's either he gets killed or something happens to him. So he can never threaten me with give me your land or you die. So that is the same thing that goes to these people. I wish Simon, I trust Simon in his wisdom. I know he's trying to serve a dish to these guys that they will not enjoy it. They will not
very well
eat that dish and be alive. But I hope he wake up on time. He do it on time, because our people are losing patience. We're losing our people. Our people are dying. People are dying. I can tell you, unless we start fighting back against our own, our land will never be placed. This madness will never stop. You see, this amnesty program will never stop. Any day we will start taking on these people, like the Enugu State governor, his in-law, his wife, his children, anybody that related to him by blood, even his friends, even his associates, anybody that knows the governor, anybody that relates to the governor, no matter, even if you are his childhood friend, anybody, guilty by associates, guilty by association, his neighbor even, the person staying in his village is our target. You see, any day these people started crying of losing somebody they know, they will change their behavior. I'm telling you. You see, these people will never change. These people will never change, and it will never stop. It will never stop. I hear the mic from here, brother. I'm so bitter in my heart, and that's why I'm speaking this way, please.
Yeah, it's really painful.
You think my voice is harsh, but I can tell you, I feel very, very sad in my heart that our life doesn't matter. Our blood doesn't count at all. Now, can you tell me what European Union came to do in our land? European Union is in our land to monitor election, but European Union is not, did not even say a word about the killing going on in our land. Something must be done, brother. They believe we're nobody. They believe we cannot fight. I'm telling you, European Union in our land, right? They come to monitor election because they want to protect. They want to protect their oil business. They want to protect our. Come on, man, something is wrong here. They don't believe it. They don't believe in ONEME. They don't believe in ONEME. They don't believe in ONEME. I'm telling you, I'm so bitter. I am so bitter. I am mad.
I'm uncle. I can tell you that
they come to monitor the zoo election.
I can tell you that from this January, it's going to be a different dance. Is there anything you want to react to it, Dr.
Yes. Yes, I actually want to, and actually, I thank you to the.
Before you do that, Dr. Modupeola, before you do that, please just hang on. Let's take this other call. Let's hear what they want to say too, and then you can take it up from there. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Especially, you're welcome on the program. So you are live and direct. Please go on.
Yes, good evening, Mazi Kelechi. Good evening, my Oduduwa sister, my Biafra sister. I greet you all. My name is Obinna. I'm calling from Istanbul. I thank you all for bringing out your time to educate our people. The last speaker spoke very well. We don't need to say too much. I believe January is just next tomorrow, and from next tomorrow they will be hearing the real music. All these stupid politicians in our land, both in Oduduwa land, in Biafra land, they will feel the pain, that's for sure. They keep on talking about elections where their people are dying. Elections is more important for them because that's when they have the opportunity to go in to loot the public funds. But I'm telling them one thing is an assurance. It's not going to happen in 2023. It's either we destroy them or we destroy the whole country called Nigeria. There will be no elections. They should keep on fooling themselves. I keep on telling my people down in the East, don't make the mistake to go out for any electioneering campaign, whatever it might be. Don't go because nobody knows what's going to happen. And I believe our people are getting the message. It's just a matter of a couple of days and they start feeling it. Thank you very much. Keep on doing what you're doing. I really appreciate you all.
Thank you so much. Before Dr. Modupeola, before you come in, let's take this last call now before you wade in, and then we can now take it up. You can now take it from there. Vine Maxwell, you're welcome. You're live. Please go on.
Thank you so much, Mazi Kelechi, and good evening to my two beautiful sisters in the studio and great sons daughters of Biafra land, those in the diaspora as well. The war, the problem we have at hand is not something, it's not a joking one. It is a very serious one. And you see how the European Union is sending their observers to come to observe elections in Nigeria. That is to tell you the reason why the Nigerian government is so out to kill anybody and nothing happens. The European Union have serious interest in the oil and gas in the land and other, vital mineral resources in deposits that there is in Nigeria, in Biafra land, all over that country. That is why they cannot do anything. They don't care how many will die. I do not know how many times we keep repeating all these things. That these people are not ready to help. They prefer us to die than for them to lose that economic interest that they are getting from that, condemned and demonic, country. That is what is going on. And I don't know how we are going to do it. But God will always show us a way to go around it. We must, if there is any time we have not taken things seriously, my brothers and my sisters, we have to take things seriously right now. Let us do whatever we can. We have veterans that are young, that have served in the same army before, that are all over the world, that are just waiting. We can get hold of technologies. We can get so many things that we can use to deliver ourselves. We begin to wait for these people, nothing will happen. I was involved in Yugoslavia. See what happened there. The UN sent troops there, what they call UNPROFOR, United Nations Protection Force in Yugoslavia. And they did their bit over there and made Croatia and the rest of them to break out. I was there in 1991. And I was also in so many other places. But what happens when it comes to Nigeria? What is the interest of the West in Nigeria? What are they benefiting that will make them to swallow, at least to destroy the feeling of unity in them? You know, against the killing of the people in Biafra land. We are going to do our thing ourselves. And God being behind us and in front of us, we are going to succeed. I would like to use this opportunity to tell all Biafrans not to relent. It is a big task. We were there before. We fought in many places before, and we will also defend our land, especially my mother's land. We will do that. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Massive Vine Maxwell. Dr. Modupe, please wade in as we round off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to first of all thank everybody, thank the callers, and also for chipping in and my fellow discussants. Now, with regards to what Femi Adesina said, right, about what's the point? You know, they're gonna. I mean, what's the point of getting killed and and you don't have your land? Well, that's not gonna happen. In your sick mind, that's it only happen is that's only going to happen in your sick mind. And I said, when I first heard that Femi Adesina said that, I said that man has lost his mind. Actually, I don't want to use he has lost his mind. I don't want to use the word damn mind, for him to say that kind of a thing. So again, we are not going to relent. And so people think that like talking is not going to do it. Actually, the talking is actually is sensitizing the people. All these things that we're doing is sensitizing the people, because our people have been misled many times. They've been misled. Do you know? In fact, it wasn't until like maybe 2-3 years ago that people like me just woke up and said, you know what, we can't just be quiet. I kept asking myself, well, but what can you do? Well, do the little you can. All these, all the things that we're doing, we're actually contributing to it and making sure that our people are encouraged and reassuring our people that you are not doing anything wrong. You are not doing anything wrong. What you're doing is you are defending yourself. You've been put in a position, in a defensive position. What are you going to do, right? The choice is to be killed. And who will just lie down and allow people to come and kill them? So again, the education that we're doing is really very, very important. And one other thing that one of the callers said about election, I want to talk about that for a second, right? That these people, they're so desperate, right? And I see here that, alliance fever and, why Nigeria cannot survive what is coming, because they see the end of, in fact, Nigeria has ended. The rest of it, we're just, all this stuff that we're doing is just, they're trying so hard to put together what has already, disintegrated, right? Because the economy is a total failure. Even the government cannot even get hold. Just recently, was it not a month or 2 months ago, when American government and and foreign government asked their people to leave Abuja because there were plans by the terrorists to take over Abuja. Buhari was not at home. He left home. So again, there's no Nigeria. All this is just it's just a fluff. what they're putting in front of you is a fluff, and we need to educate our people to understand that it's just a fluff. There's nothing there. There's no Nigeria. So, I mean, even right now, like if Buhari today, right? If Buhari's term ends today, right? If there's no election, there's no government. Actually, there's really no government because it's an illegal government anyway, right? But let's even assume that, okay, yeah, Buhari's term, if there's no, I mean, if nobody is elected, there's no government. So again, our people, that's what I'm saying. If you do the election, what you're doing is you're giving them the mandate to rule over you. You're giving the oppressor, the power, the tools to continue to oppress you. So the weapon. So again, it's not just defending ourselves, when they come to us, but we can also defend ourselves by not giving them that mandate. To me, I do not think that there is need for any election, that anybody should be going out to for any. It's because the vote. I mean, about 2015, and Buhari was coming in. Oh, they promised heaven and earth. Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But things got from bad to worse. They said, oh, when Buhari comes in about 6 months,
please, Doctor, can you just 1 minute, 2 minutes?
Yes.
Let's hear what
insecurity quadrupled.
Okay,
not just double, quadrupled.
Just hold your thoughts there. Let's hear what this caller has to say. You can continue from that point. You're welcome. Please go on, please. You're live.
Okay. Good evening, brother. This is Maya calling from Istanbul.
Okay.
My brother, good evening, and good evening, beautiful mothers that are feeling very concerned. I've seen your tears and everything. I'm feeling so depressed, and I feel I'm bleeding inside. Can you hear me clearly?
Very well, loud and clear.
Okay. The point there is very simple. These politicians are bent on holding on the evil unity. It's not like we are against Nigeria or we want freedom for all. And we have found out why they are doing all this. It's because those, Nigeria is blessed with natural resources. According to
Nigeria. Nigeria is not blessed with natural resources
that are very precious.
Can you hear me?
So they are.
Nigeria is not blessed with natural resources. It's not Nigeria. The indigenous nations are blessed with natural resources, not Nigeria. Yes.
Okay. Whatever we can put it. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like from Zamfara that has gold and diamonds to that has the Californium that we are talking about, that Mustafa, the retired general, was talking about. And in Amufu, we have all. We have cement. We have steel in Abeokuta. We have everything the only thing that is surrounding China today is steel. So we have all this. So what they are doing is they use these British assassins. I mean the nomads. I don't want to call them the nomads that came from Mali, Senegambia, and then Mauritania to come and occupy those places. That's the same thing they are doing in Mali. That's the same thing they are doing in Gambia. That's the same thing they are doing everywhere. They use these guys because they know that they are just ordinary, they are bushmen. That is what they are supposed to be clarified as. They are bushmen. They are nomads. You understand? They use them, the Westerners use them to come and invade into Africa so that they can occupy those areas. So whatever we are saying, anything concerning election, we should just forget about anything election, because these guys are from 50 years and above. They cannot be decided for us. This is our future. So we have to stand strong and fight for our children. They have really tried. They said they have been doing it right. They have been doing it right or this way. Let us do it wrong this time by not voting at all. Let us nothing like election. That is how we are supposed to be. Let's make people understand that these people are just there to protect their own personal interest. They are protecting the interest of the West, the Western exploiters that are coming to exploit our mineral resources. That is what is going on. Okay, this insurgency, this purported insurgency is just like they just use it to manipulate the public sector, the masses, so that they will not understand what is going on. They are protecting all those places so so that they will be mining them. They are mining our Californium on daily basis. They are mining our gold on daily basis. They are mining our crude oil and gas, shipping them across the border. So all these things we are doing, they just put all these rogues, all these criminals as governors and senators and all of them. They are all together. Forget about this party, APC, PDP, whatever. They are just using it to compete us. Okay. Now everybody all those that are supporting POP, how many governors are supporting people? And you just check this thing out. We are just big fools, understand? But now this generation, they have started looking into all these things because we have traveled, we have seen things, we have explored, we have professionals here and there. So we have all it takes to make like that Biafra land alone and to Oduduwa nation. We can make those places better than to buy 10 times in few years. I mean 10 times because now the whole world is using the brain technology. Nobody is interested in all this crude, this, that. Yeah, they are very important, but I mean we should focus on educating our people to let them know why they are killing people in Yahamuku, why they are killing people in Izombe, why they are killing people in all those places have precious minerals that these people, the archaeologists that came here some decades ago, before the 50s and 60s, discovered all these things, went there and discovered all these things for them. So what they do is they kept the secret documents, then put their stooges everywhere to be defending all those things for them. All these killings, all this insurgency, was there anything like insurgency in Southeast before? Nothing like that. Until they brought the military, all the military you are seeing in Southeast, police, everything, they are from Sahel. They are from somewhere. They are not even indigenous amongst us. They are not even also Yoruba.
Thank you, my brother. You've actually said a lot. You have actually said a lot. Thank you so much for that. Yes, you know, we just have to give time for.
Yeah, if you leave me, I can go on and go on. But I just want to pick the point so that we can start hitting on that from them from this January, so that everybody will be educated about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much.
God bless you, my sisters. God bless everybody. God bless you.
Thank you. Let's just hear from OK also. Okay, let's because of time, you know, we have to just check the time out because our guests have been sitting for a long time, you know, and they have to also do their own thing. So, Dr. please land on that so that Dr. Ngozi would now also conclude on that note, and then we can wait for next week Friday to do more justice to these facts. So please go on.
Yes. So back on the topic of elections, and I want to kind of end it there. So what I was saying with election is that we need to sensitize our people and educate our people that right now they are this government, these people, they are desperate because they know that it is the end for them, right? And so the only way you can renew it for them is to go back and give them the mandate through election. So if you let them, because I mean, come to think of it, the 1914, the amalgamation, whatever put us together, ended back in 2014, right? And so it was the election that they used to renew that. And do not give them that ammunition. And so so again, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we're defending ourselves. It's not just defending ourselves with arms. We also need to defend ourselves by not giving them the tools that they use, the tools of oppression, and that is the election. And it's because and again, when you talk to a lot of our people, they'll say, oh well, but if we don't go out and do the election, some people will do. Well, let them do, but on our own land, we are not going to do no election. They can do election in Nigeria, but not on our own land. We're not going to elect anybody because we are not in this union by our own, free. We are not freely. We did not decide to be in this union.
So we
cannot give you the tool to do that. Yes.
Yeah, Doctor, let's just hear this for 1 minute, please. Caller, just 1 minute, just 1 minute, please, so that we can round off. Just 1 minute, please go on.
Me?
Yes, please go on. Just 1 minute. Try and make it up 1 minute.
Sorry. Yeah, if it's 1 minute, I'll make it quick.
Okay, please.
Well,
please.
I greet you with the ladies what you're doing to try to let our people know what is going on. Number one, I don't know where to start because our Mazin Nadekan already if we're ready. If we know that it's a prophet that is talking from other side of the country, we could have believed it. Number two, all of us now try to support Peter Obi. What will Peter Obi do if he wins? The constitution is there. All the people in the house is open and raised. Nobody can let Peter Obi do anything because, number one, Good Luck did it. Good Luck couldn't even do no road to his village. Obasanjo didn't do anything to his own place. So the best thing is for us to try to let our people know that if we can stop this election, that's the beginning of the new Africa or new anything that we want to call it. So I don't have enough time.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. In fact, you said enough with that 1 minute. You actually said the real things. So that's it. So, Dr. Modupeola, are you through, or you want to add something to what you?
No, I'm just going to end that we should all agree that no election in our land. Period.
That's good.
Do not give them the ammunition that they're going to use against you. And I'm going to stop it there. Thank you.
Definitely. Before Dr. Orabueze comes in, let me allow, because he has been calling and calling. Please, just 1 minute. Just round up for one. Just use 1 minute, please. Yeah, can you go on, please? Go on for 1 minute. Okay.
Okay. Hello. Am I through?
Yes. Just go on 1 minute, please.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Let me just make it brief.
Please.
So, my brother, please. This Mazi, okay, I'm calling from Germany. Let me just chip in very fast, please. One thing I understand is the major weapon these people are using on our people is just division. The anchor of division. They have succeeded in this so much on that I could remember one book we used to read in those days. I hold the 4 assets. You know, when you have the 4 assets in a game, you determine the game. There's nothing any other person can do. So this is what the politicians are camping on. They know that as much as this disunity is or strife among the youth, there's nothing anybody can do. In a situation, in a country where an Okeke cannot organize a protest in any northern state, in a country of his own, my brother, is outrageous. And that is the same thing. A Yoruba cannot organize a protest in Eastern without being seen as a whatever. That is suspicious. So this thing has been going on. Check out what happened during the NSAS. It was the moment this unity was seen to be outplayed. That was when a Katrina Leang or whatever had to flew to Lagos to meet with what's his name? The Jagaban. The next day he came up to say it is the Igbos that is causing this mayhem. And the same day that they talk started as a rampage in our country. So it is this disunity among the youth that these people are still used. And in fact, the politicians they themselves don't believe in election. What they do there is just selection. That is why they don't care. They don't the votes because they know that no matter what you do, it is not the vote that is going to count. It is who down to the tune of the kingmaker or whatever. That is who they are going to give the best whatever.
Thank you so
much. So they believe so much on this, and they don't care about what the masses think or does. So we have to lay more emphasis, my brother, on educating the youth to know the real facts and the dangers lying in there. Once we dismantle this frog of disunity in any device, we will get there. We will win there.
Thank you so much, Master. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Let me make it brief. 1 minute. I have more to say, but let me just continue that session.
You have already used 3 minutes.
Let us work on that. Educate our people to be united.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mazu. Okay, thank you so much for that. And that was great. Dr. Ngozi, what do you have to say as we round off?
Yes. Thank you so much, Kelechi and Dr. Modupeola. That was a wonderful aspect, the angle where you came from. And we must not validate a failed state. Nigeria is already a failed state. If you read the report, I think it's by the U.S. service, one of those services, Nigeria, a failed state in 2030. I want everybody to Google that book and read it. Nigeria, a failed state in 2030. America already know Nigeria is going to fail. Britain already know Nigeria is going to fail, because some of the things that they recommended way back when they did the amalgamation, those things, it's not happening. So they're looking at that failed state gradually creeping up. And to come to what Dr. Modupeola said about the governor that is kicking against and attacking his people on self-determination, my Oduduwa brothers and sisters, that's why I told you it's just these two classes of people in Nigeria. Those in the leadership, they're all the same, cut across. In the east, west, north, south, middle belt, they all speak the same language. And that language is to continue to perpetuate themselves in power. Anything that is going to be a threat to that, they will do and use everything possible, including the military, the DSS, the police, to quench that. They have been successfully doing this since the independence, since the amalgamation, but not anymore. Because Nigerians have understand right now that this system they are using is not going to work anymore. So whether in the north, in the south, in the middle belt, in the west, when people talk about the injustices going on in Nigeria, the killings going on, the inequity, the unfairness going on, the marginalization, when the citizens want to talk about that, what does the leaders do? They unleash the military, they unleash the police, they unleash the security on them to kill them with the guns that we Nigerians use our money, our resources to buy and give them. So they've been operating like that. It's not just in the east, in the west, in the north. All these governors, they do the same, except few of them. Even the legislators. That is why the killings going on in Harmful, in Izombe, in Imo. None of them can come out and boldly talk, condemn it on the newspaper, condemn it in the television. And we have people we claim we elected. So why should we go ahead again, Nigerians, and elect these people who, if we are being invaded, if we are killed, you cannot hear from them? What are we trying to do? What narrative are we trying to perpetuate? That means we want the same thing to continue. We want the same thing to continue, because these people that are not talking now, what makes you think if there's mass killing in Sokoto next week, or there's mass killing in Rivers, or there's mass killing in Ondo State, or there's mass killing in Enugu State, what makes you think that the same people that are not talking now, what makes you think that when you go and vote them, that they will talk? How many of the presidents have come out to condemn the killings in Ihenacho, Izombe, Imo State? Are they talking? None. All they are telling you is now, go collect your PVC, vote us, vote me in power, and I'm going to change, vote me. No. Nigerians are tired. No more voting. We cannot validate a failed system, because when you go to vote, then that means you've validated that failed leader to continue doing what they're doing. When the leaders refuse to talk peacefully, which most Nigerians have been calling on these leaders, we need to talk. We need to discuss the Constitution. We need to have a referendum. We all need to come together and discuss how we want to exist as a people. And there are so many formats, there are so many ways that if they want Nigeria to exist, there are so many ways that the region will have so much power to still develop their own place, have their own law, have their own military, have their own police. But the powers that be, they don't want to hear that. So that trick is open to the whole Nigerians right now. So that is why we cannot, there's not going to be any election in Biafra land. No election in Biafra land. And sit at home continues. There'll be no election in Biafra land, because all the people that are being killed in Biafra land, None of these people, none of these leaders that we voted, except few of them, have come out. None of the governors have come out to condemn. Rather, these governors, they partner with these killers to destroy, kill our people. So why do they want to come and conduct election in Biafra land? In Oduduwa land? So Chief Sunday Igboho has said there'll be no election in Oduduwa land. So even though the same, remember I said, the people that are leading and those that are being led. So those that are leading, they will do everything possible to make sure election holds in their different states. But those that are being led, are the ones that are suffering. They're the ones being killed. They're the ones suffering, the invaders, the terrorist invaders. It is the responsibility of all these people that are being ruled to make sure that no election holds in their own place. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the people. It's not about us. It is about holding on to power. It's about holding on to power and milking the resources in one way or the other. Britain sending people to come and inspect election in Nigeria? Really? And all these killings going on, has Britain ever said something? Have they sent a condolence message? Have they said this killing is out of hand? This killing should stop? Have they sent a message to Buhari? This killing must stop? Did they do that? No. But they are sending their people. I hope they better not enter Biafra land. Because if you cannot comment when my people are being killed and murdered every day, what gives you the audacity to enter my community and say you're monitoring an election to put somebody who does not talk when my people are being murdered? So I call on my Oduduwa brothers and sisters. The partnership that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho have created, that is what we are going to follow, regardless of any leader in this community. Why are they afraid to release Nnamdi Kanu? Nnamdi Kanu has been acquitted and discharged by almost 3 courts, including United Nations Committee on Extraordinary Rendition. He has been acquitted. He has been cleared. Nigerian government have been told to release him and compensate him. Did that happen today? And then somebody wants us to live by the law. So you, that is the leader, you don't follow the law, but you want the slaves you're controlling to follow the laws. No, I don't think that will happen. Thank you.
Yeah, this will be the last call. Dr. Ruby, you are welcome live. You are live. Please go on.
Okay, good morning, my people. All hail Biafra. I know we all hail Oduduwa, sister and brothers.
Yes.
I know everyone is hearing me.
Very well.
Our people. Our problem is our politicians. Our politicians, their pocket is full. They are pressed right now because they have taken money, but they could not deliver. So they are now running, looking for everybody that is trying to get us from this hole that we are. They want to kill them just because these people, Fulani people, want them to deliver and they cannot. They got to the point that now they're trying to kill Mazi Simon. They are holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that has not done anything. Their own foolish court, legal system say let him go. We don't have anything against him, but still they will not let him go. That tells you that these people, they are not human beings. They don't have brains because they know one day it will be all over and they will give account of what they are doing. When you press a balloon to the wall, at a time it will burst. It will not have anywhere to go but to burst. If you push somebody down, they don't have anywhere else to fall to. So they will try to get up. God is lifting us up right now, and they cannot handle it. They don't have choice. They have to let us go. No election in Biafra land. And I tell you this, UN they are sending. They will put them in one hotel in Abuja. They will not send them to local villages where people are dying. They will not ask them how is these people in the localities doing. They'll put them in Hyatt hotel with air conditioning, and people in the localities don't have any food, no light, no water. And these people don't have conscience. They will still come to listen to these Fulani people that doesn't have common sense. And they deal with them because they don't have common sense. God has made us what we are, and they will never stop us. It is that time. The Bible has spoken. Human being has spoken. All humanity has risen up. We are no longer slaves. Thank you for thank you for having this call from me.
Wow. Dr. Ruby, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You just capped everything. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you for that. And of course, we have heard it. Biafrans, Oduduwa, citizens, and lovers of freedom all over the nations of the world. You know, our guests have done major work on this matter today. We don't have the time to actually continue because some other things have to be done. And of course, we're going to have them again in the house next week, Friday, 4 p.m. Biafra time. They're going to be talking more on these things. And of course, it's going to be in the new year. So we are going to observe between, Monday to Friday, Sunday to Friday, and know what's going to happen and the things happening, the activities of the Fulanis. And they're going to be here again to do justice to these matters. Because going forward, we have made our resolution and we have decided what we want. And we are saying there will be no election. And I tell you that Oduduwa Nation and Biafra Nation, they are together in this thing, strongly together in this thing. And I can assure you that this time around, it's not going to be the same music for Fulanis. It's a different music for them this time around, and we're going to force them to dance to the music. And as we force them to dance to the music, we're also going to put them where they belong, and that will be their end in the contraption Nigeria. Thank you so much. And before we go, I'll just say 1 minute, Dr. Modupeola, you have to say goodbye to the people. Dr. Ngozi, 1 minute. Let's just take 1 minute to just do that, and of course say, encourage our people and tell them what you want to tell them in your final words, please.
Thank you, Mr. Ambrose. Thank you, Dr. Ngozi, and thank you for all of the viewers. If there's one takeaway from this discussion today, is that we have all agreed, and this is something we need to now go out into our communities, to all our people. No elections in Yoruba land, in Igbo land, in Middle Belt, even in the North. If we want to truly liberate ourselves, because that's our weapon. We don't need to sit back, we don't need to sit back and be helpless. We have a weapon. The weapon is that we will not participate in their fraudulent election. No election. And that's the takeaway today. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Adebayo. Great one. Kelechi, thank you so much. And I thank all my Oduduwa brothers and sisters, my Biafran brothers and sisters that are listening to this program. And like Dr. Modupeola has said, when you participate in Nigeria's 2023 election, your
voice is muted.
Voice? Oh, sorry. I think it's okay. Sorry. I think
okay, now we can hear you now.
Okay, my phone is on standby. So when you participate in the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria, you are validating the failed state of Nigeria. Again, some people can say, oh, Peter Obi has a choice. Okay, he's the best candidate, blah, 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 or this one. And I ask people, what happens if Peter Obi does not win? So we go back to square one. And again, even if Peter Obi wins, where Nigeria has been restructured in the past 100 years, and I keep telling people, there has been a systemic restructuring of this country. But some people don't know that. Do you have the number of senators for P2B to change any law in Nigeria? Do you have the right number of House of Representative members? Because they will tell you, oh, even P2B, he has to go by this constitution. Which constitution? The same failed constitution that is causing all this problem for us today. So why do we want to do that? Where is P2B going to have the numbers? Or is he going to perform magic? He still needs the votes to change some of these problems we are talking about today. And those crooks, those cronies, those people that are perpetuating this evil knows that to get that number is going to be very difficult. So I don't have any problem with people following P2B or trying to give him a chance. But do not stop the Oduduwas and the Biafrans that have already seen where this is going and said, we do not want to participate in this election. We want to talk first. So if those that are perpetuating this criminality called Nigeria want to do the election first, it is our responsibility to say, we do not want, we want to talk first. And if they don't want to talk first, then this election will not hold in Biafra land. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, all the way from the United States, and Dr. Modupeola Adebayo, all the way from the United States, and talking to us on this program. And it's been wonderful having them. Of course, we had Mr. Demola, Faleti. He actually had to move to do some other things. We also have Prince Ezem. He had to send a message also. He had to do some other things. Prince Ezem, Ihenacho. Oh my God, this has been. Please, I want you to share this broadcast live on all social media platforms where you belong. Search them out, share them so that they can hear the message from these people who have been ordained by God himself to speak to you today and give you the message that you need at this time before you get into the new year. Because we have said it, no election, and it stands. And as much as the people have said this, then we must enforce it. And you must send this message all around so that other people can get this message and hear the voice of God speak. Because when the people speak in unison, in unity, God is speaking. And that's the fact, and that's the basic fact. So thank you so much, Dr. Modupeola Adebayo and Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, for being part of touching the lives of the people today. They are so excited to have you. And of course, hopefully we're going to be having you again on Friday, 4 p.m. Biafra time, talking same on the Alliance in Focus and looking at critical issues that concerns us in another dimension this time around. Thank you so much. We love you so much, and we appreciate you for coming. Thank you. And Biafrans are saying thank you. And thank you. So please, sorry for taking so much of your time, almost about 2 hours. So it's good. Thank you so much. We know that it's a sacrifice for the people. Thank you so much, Biafrans.
And Happy New Year in advance.
Oh, wow, wow, yes. So, Happy New Year coming from our guests, they say in advance, because in less than 48 hours, anyways, we're getting there. And we all will see the new year, and we're going to enjoy the benefits. Fulani will not kill you. Nothing will happen to you. You are secure. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, because we are going to be secure, and God will protect us all. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Thank you. As we sign out, we say remain focused. Tomorrow I'll be here again. I couldn't read the messages today. I couldn't do anything about the messages, but tomorrow I'm going to be here, and I'm going to also be talking with us critically on serious matters tomorrow by 4 p.m. Biafra time. So join us and also be part of it. Thank you so much all. We love you all, and take care and be safe. Be safe. Right. Thank you so much.